don't sleep much.
Not really.
And nor does
Do you?
President Trump. No, I know. I slept 4 hours last night.
And you feel fine? Okay, that's
I'm on my, this is my fourth cup of coffee.
4 hours is nuts. 4 hours is Trump level.
4 hours. Yeah. And the night before was like 6, before that was like 7. So it varies. But is that what he sleeps? Like 4 hours?
He like does not sleep.
Yeah, I did Fox and Friends finance segment, and it was just on Gen Zs and finance. And one of the executive producers like, we just want to show you around. And they showed me the control room. And I said, how have things been in the control room as of late? She's like, none of us are sleeping because the president doesn't sleep. We're all working 2 times right now. Do you feel that same way?
I was just talking to someone about this because we wrote this story on what traveling with him is like in the first term, because I had this source who said, you never want to be on Air Force One on a trip. And I said, why? Like, you'd think you want to be in the axis of power close to Trump. He doesn't sleep on these trips. And like, you're going to Asia or something, and that's kind of the only time you're going to sleep before you go on this trip.
Yeah.
But Trump is just always up and talking, and he'll like have them go wake staff up if they're asleep because he wants to talk to them. And so we have this big trip to Asia coming up, and you're not going to sleep on that flight. It's different because Trump is such an accessible president that, like, if he's just swearing in the ambassador to Greece, like, typically that wouldn't be a newsworthy event if President Biden or any typical president was probably doing it. But Trump's moments, anytime the camera's around and the reporters are around, it can turn into a press conference. And so you never go into the Oval thinking, oh, this is going to be a quick, we call them sprays. It's where you go in, basically a photo op, and then you leave. Because Trump will swear someone in, and then he'll turn to you and say, any questions? And he'll take maybe questions for 45 minutes. And so you have to, like, I always keep a running list of questions on my phone. Okay. Because you never know when you're going to run into him or when he's going to start taking questions. And so you can't just have 1 or 2. Like, you have to have like 10 ready to go. Because
you said the word typical president, right? Not your typical president. Typical president was swearing in someone from Greece, like we would know. Is that because of predictability?
So Trump is my first president that I ever covered, and I covered Biden as well. And so I can compare it to him. But even with President Obama, there are these moments in the Oval Office that everyone has come to know because you see them on TV so often.
Right.
But when you speak to reporters who covered President Obama, he almost never responded to shouted questions. It wasn't his thing. He didn't, he would have his moments with world leaders, and then you would leave the Oval. Trump kind of upended that when he came into the White House. And sometimes presidents are press averse. Trump embraced the media. I mean, he did it for decades as like this New York mogul.
Sure.
And so he just had a different approach to the press, and always has, long before taking office. Most politicians are not very press savvy. It kind of depends on who it is. I think Trump always understood the value of a camera and a microphone.